the game.
Coming at you live in the heart of Lincoln, America.
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
On air and online at theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Jake Bakoven and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
Happy Tuesday to the Ticketverse. This is the Ticket Water Cooler here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bakoven. He is Enrique Alvarez Clary, and we are glad to be with you. We've got a nice show for you put together. Well, we didn't really do anything, but there's been some news in Huskerland. A transfer. IGC has hit the transfer portal.
Sad.
Kind of sad. We'll break that down here in a minute. Also, Mickey Joseph and some players talking to the press. But before we get to that, I want to thank somebody for bringing us some lunch.
Yeah, shout out to Taylor from Lincoln's Pub for bringing by some tacos. I believe that if you listen on later to some of the Ticket Weeknights that'll be going on tonight, I think he'll be coming back with some more food. But if you guys want to, Lincoln's Pub, they have some weekly specials. Today, Tuesday, you can guess what it is, Taco Tuesday.
All
We got some
right.
tacos here that he brought us. 3 street tacos, chicken, pork, beef for $9. $5 gets you frozen house margaritas. And if you haven't heard about Lincoln's Pub and Dak Shack, I suggest you get down there and get you some delicious food and some fantastic drinks that they got going on. It sounds amazing. I've had a couple of things from there. They had some pizza last week that was fantastic, just delicious. So yeah, go on and get yourself some food. It's fantastic. It's great.
I can't wait to try some of these tacos during the break. So
Yeah, like
I'll
I
be
said,
looking forward to
chicken,
it.
pork, and beef. I already laid claim to the pork, so you can
Okay.
have the chicken and the beef if you would like.
Sweet.
But yeah, Taco Tuesday today at Lincoln's Pub. $9 gets you 3 street tacos. So get on down there and get yourself some tacos on a beautiful Tuesday.
There you go. Easy enough. Let's get into the news. Like I said, with the Husker football team today, it's the last day that any player can transfer out of the program because of the Scott Frost firing. So you get a month after your coach is fired to get that opportunity.
You get a free transfer.
You get a free transfer. And Isaiah Garcia Castaneda ultimately decides to do so. The reports were done pre-press conference. And then we had Mickey Joseph expand on a little bit that IGC wanted to be the number one guy. That's something they couldn't really do for him. Maybe looked like it was a possibility coming out of the Northwestern game, but he kind of just fell down the depth chart and feels, who knows what the case may be. He's new to Lincoln, maybe just never felt the fit was really there to begin with. Maybe he feels like there's some preferential treatment on the depth chart or whatever. But no longer Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. He was not quite one of your guys, was he, or was he?
He was definitely one of my guys.
He was one of your guys.
I called it before the Northwestern game. He was going to have a breakout game. Sure enough, had a breakout
That's right.
game, and I was feeling great about it. And then he just kind of disappeared for the remaining games. He had multiple targets in a lot of games. He had 1 catch after the Northwestern game against Oklahoma that went for 0 yards. He also had 2 drops against Georgia Southern, I believe. It just didn't materialize. He kind of fell out of favor, maybe with the coaches, maybe with Casey Thompson, and wasn't being targeted as much as some of the other receivers. So he wanted to be number one. I think we all know who the number one receiver is. So it just didn't work out, and he'll get his free transfer, and hopefully he has success wherever he goes. I mean, I'm not going to, just because he wanted to be number one, didn't get his number one and is transferring, I'm not going to root against him. I mean, I hope he does well wherever he wherever he ends up.
Do you see this as a big hit to Nebraska? Or is it, it seemed like he at least gotten to the point where with some of those rotational guys, he was just one of the guys. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but like kind of Alante Brown, Oliver Martin, him. They're, Trey Palmer's the standout, and then you've got some guys they're hopefully
Trey
from
Palmer
game to
and
game
Marcus
can kinda
Washington.
stand out.
Trey
Right.
Palmer and Marcus Washington are your 1-2, and then everybody else after that is there, and they have their own specialties and whatever they do. Oliver Martin had the deep catch touchdown against Indiana to open the game.
Almost got him twice.
Yeah, Alante Brown has been really good in short passes and making people miss and gaining a couple yards, kind of like a first down kind of guy, a little possession receiver. But I don't see it as a big hit losing Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. I mean, it would be good to have somebody that had glowing reviews coming out of fall camp from Mickey Joseph as one of the guys that could be a difference maker. But the fact that he's been kind of just disappeared, like a disappearing act for the last couple of games, and it hasn't really affected Nebraska. I don't think losing him is going to do much. Plus, you have Tommy Hill moving over from corner to wide receiver. He did play receiver in high school and had 1,000 yards and I believe double-digit touchdowns his senior year. So it's not like he's new to the position. He's just new to the position in college. So I don't believe that it's a major hit to Nebraska, but it would be nice to have somebody who was getting rave reviews from your receiver coach coming out of fall camp still on the roster.
Well, I think from today, just a few of the different things, and Tommy Hill's one of them, is that I feel like this Mickey Joseph is more of a player's coach maybe than the previous regime. He said that Gabe Ervin had a decision not to play, and he said the decision will be up to the players. And Gabe Ervin didn't feel like he was ready to play because of a toe injury, but saying that maybe would lead you to believe that maybe the decision wasn't as much up to the players before. And then with this, with this Tommy Hill move is very intriguing because I think Tommy Hill just wants to get on the field. He wants to find a way to help the team. You have to believe. He was a top 200 recruit before he went to Arizona State as a cornerback. I mean, that's where a lot of teams are kind of projecting him. But if he feels like he's kind of falling in the depth chart there, maybe he feels like he can play at wide receiver. I don't know how much to expect. I mean, he warmed up with them, didn't really get any snaps this past game at wide receiver, but maybe you would think that's kind of the transition week. And then once he gets
I don't know when he made the transition to wide receiver, but maybe he just didn't get enough practice with the wide receivers. He practiced, according to Casey Thompson today, Tommy Hill practiced with the ones today, and they've already developed a pretty good pretty good rapport on deep passes. So that leads you to believe that maybe you'll see a little bit more Tommy Hill in the future at wide receiver. But he kind of fell behind Malcolm Hartzog, who's starting now, and Brandon Moore, the transfer from UCF, who had some big plays against Rutgers. So it's like you said, he just wants to get on the field. He's a supreme athlete. You also heard that coming out of fall camp. So just getting him on the field is something that you can bet on the coaches trying to do.
But it is just interesting the way that you see it, because he did. I mean, like you said, he's a supreme athlete. He's getting comparisons to Cam Taylor-Britt, obviously at cornerback that wasn't playing off, but both of them are kick returners, punt returners for a reason, because
he'll be starting a kick return.
Yeah, there's some of the best athletes on the team. And you just kind of wonder, is this, especially against a Purdue team that is going to air the ball out, Malcolm Hartzog, as well as he did rebounding last week, he was a target, and he had to be pulled to a degree with Brandon Moore going in there. You still have Braxton Clark back there as a backup, and obviously we'll see with Quentin Newsom's health, who's day-to-day right now. I don't know. It seems like to me it might be more useful to keep him at defensive back for another week, but that's why I think maybe this is more of a player-led decision, is he's trying to find a way to help the team and get playing time. And I could be wrong. That's my outsider. I don't want to say like he's being greedy or anything, like he's moving to wide receiver.
It could be one of those things where he asked the coaches, what can I do to get on the field? And, he's already playing special teams. He's been playing special teams. So it could be one of those things where he asked, what can I do to see more time on the field? And they're like, well, we're losing a wide receiver. If you want to move over there, maybe we can get you on the field. And he made that decision, and the coaches agreed to it, and they moved him over, especially with, the emergence of Brandon Moore at corner. So now you have two corners opposite Quentin Newsome. Hopefully he is healthy and ready to go against Indiana, but you also have Braxton Clark. The secondary room is pretty deep. So losing Tommy Hill, it kind of hurts because, as you said, he was a top 200 recruit, but you have enough bodies, you have enough capable bodies to put back there that moving him over to receiver shouldn't hurt you too much in the secondary. And I don't know. No, never mind. Caleb Tanner wears number 2. I was going to say, maybe he'd be able to move back over to defense and wear number 2.
Switch his number again, I guess. But I'm just kind of thinking too is maybe I'm thinking back to Lamar Jackson, where he was the same type of thing. Supreme athlete, did get benched, worked his way back, and eventually starting in the NFL. That's kind of what my thought with Tommy Hill is. Maybe you kind of go through a similar path. He's a young guy, still just a sophomore, so maybe that's in the cards too. But I'm excited. I don't know if he's necessarily a two-way player down the line, but I'm just excited for that possibility. Even that guy that has that level of athleticism. I just still don't know what to expect from him at wide receiver. It's rather new, like you said. He has played it at wide receiver in high school, but high school,
really good receiver in high school.
But there's a difference between a good wide receiver in high school and going to the Big Ten. So we'll see. And then does he? Because what he needs to do is, like we were just kind of saying, is stand out to a degree to make the move worth it. is he going to rise up the depth chart there? Is he going to be, or is he just going to get lost amongst the shuffle of guys that get,
it's a lot of receivers,
6 or 7 snaps a game?
There's a lot of receivers out there, so you got to see if he'll be able to do it. But I mean, hearing Casey Thompson say that they've developed some type of relationship on deep passes, and he was practicing with the ones today. I mean, that's got to mean something, right? That he's already stood out to enough of a degree that he's able to run with the ones, and that Casey Thompson feels comfortable throwing deep passes to him. It's something.
Yeah, so we'll see.
It's a start.
It's something that's it's a twist. It's something that's kind of exciting, if for nothing else, for a guy that quite honestly was not playing the last couple of games at cornerback. So it's not like you lose too much there as long as Newsome can stay healthy. They have options there, so we'll kind of see how it plays out. And again, he's not gone. IGC is, but Tommy Hill's not gone. So if they ultimately get thin back there, need to move him around, they could always do that again. How about this though too? At the end of the press conference, there was a question about the black shirts, and Mickey Joseph said no.
Nope.
So
see you guys later.
Wasn't going to answer about it. I was kind of surprised. I thought Nebraska I thought that would be kind of a good feeling type of story that they could have went with this week. Whether or not they got the black shirts, I don't know, because Mickey Joseph just didn't want to talk about it. But I thought this would be an opportunity. I don't know if
I think maybe it's one of those where they've been playing so well without them, you don't want to kind of. And I'm not saying that this would happen with any of the players, so don't quote me on this, but maybe he's thinking you don't want to give them big heads by giving them the black shirt, saying you've played so well, congratulations, here's your black shirt, before you go up against a much better offense than the last two that you faced. So maybe it's something where after this one, if they perform well, if they perform to their ability, so to what they've done the last 2 games, and they win, because I don't think they'll be handed out after a loss, that they get those going into the bye week. And then you have an extra week of practice with the black shirts, time to soak it in, deal with your newfound practice jersey, and then head into the Illinois game with newfound confidence.
Well, and I think too, if you think about it in the long term, obviously as we're in the moment, it kind of feels like, you're going to remember this down the line. But when you think about, when the black shirts were handed out in the past, sometimes it just, it just kind of get lost along the storylines of the season. It's obviously near and dear to a lot of, former defenders and just the Husker fan base as a whole. I love that the Husker fan base celebrates defense in particular. Culturally, that's cool if you're even recruiting a defensive player. But, I guess my thought was that maybe you don't want to do it too long, because eventually you're going to go up against an offense like Purdue, or somebody's going to throw up 30 on you, and then you're going to be like, well, what do we just do it after the next good, decent performance? And then what's that game?
Then you end up with the Bo Pelini where you just kind of handed them out.
Right. I think that's the danger they're kind of walking by if they're not handing them out now, is that eventually you're just going to hand them out because you probably should at some point.
But I mean, you do want the defenders to prove that they have earned the black shirts. And again, they put up 2 shutouts in the second half.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter who you go up against, but at the same time, they weren't facing very juggernaut offenses. They were facing an Indiana squad that likes to, toss the rock around, not at a very efficient rate, and they're facing a Rutgers offense that has no idea who their quarterback really is. So in both of those situations, you held them to 14 and 13 points, because the block or the fumble touchdown doesn't count against the defense. So you held Indiana to 14, you held Rutgers to 13. Yeah, congratulations. But neither one of them are in the top 50 offenses. I believe Indiana might be in the top 100. Rutgers definitely isn't. So, now you're facing an offense in Purdue with a second team conference quarterback and a possible, and no, there are too many good receivers, second team wide receiver. So if you
might be first team.
It may be, but so if you can put up good defensive numbers against this offense, then maybe that'll be enough to get you those black shirts back, because after the performance against Oklahoma and the performance against Georgia Southern, it still stings a little bit, especially now with the way that all of the teams that have beat you have been faring.
Well, and again, that kind of factors into it too, is that their overall rankings are still not very good, despite shutting out teams in the second half of the last couple of weeks.
They're in the top 70, I believe.
I think they're still dangling in the
Are they? I'll have to
triple
look.
digits.
Maybe that
in
was
most
offense.
categories.
They were like 61st or something.
Yeah. But it takes quite a bit when you give up 500 yards
Yeah.
plus in your first few games. So that's what they're battling back for. Regardless of whether they have black shirts or not, you can tell that they've got momentum and they've got confidence. So we'll kind of see what they have. But they do have, like we've been saying, considerable more of a challenge this week with Aiden O'Connell and Purdue's passing offense coming in. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll jump back into a little bit more of what Mickey Joseph had to say today. Also, sellout streak extended. That's one of Rico's favorite topics. So we'll get on that coming up next year. The Ticket Water Cooler 93.7 The Ticket.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the fall with pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cream cheese, and a pumpkin pie smoothie. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations and a new location in Seward opening soon.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me this week from Seacrest Field for 2 games. On Thursday, we get our first look at Millard West as they travel to Lincoln to face off against Lincoln Southwest. The Silverhawks look to get their 7th win of the season on Thursday, which would be the most wins for Lincoln Southwest in a single season since 2018. On Friday at 7 p.m., it's Lincoln North Star and Lincoln East squaring off. The Spartans still have some work to do to solidify themselves in the playoffs, while the Gators are on the outside looking in. Make sure you tune in this Thursday and Friday for all your Week 8 high school football action right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Warm, windy conditions expected here for our Tuesday. We'll top out at 87. Southwest winds could gust over 25 to 30. Tonight we'll have a chance of thunderstorms rolling through late with a low down to 50. And behind our cold front, northwest winds tomorrow could gust over 35 with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Do you know how I felt as a tight end to see them fake that run and see Big Vokalek wide open. That's Nebraska football. The tight end, using the tight end. Listen, having Trey Palmer is like icing on the cake because he can blow the top off. He can blow the lid off at any given moment. But just to know that there's plays that's in the playbook that probably should be getting used. We need to take what the defense gives us.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so I don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Anderson. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler, brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are rocking out here on a Tuesday afternoon. This is the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket. And we've got some Husker football to talk. Of course, Mickey Joseph had his press conference today, so the players spoke as well. So we'll work on getting that stuff to you throughout the day. But, of course, while we don't have the direct audio, we can talk about what was said and kind of the newsworthy items there. A lot of questions have been around Mark Whipple as of late. And today Coach Mickey Joseph said he's dealing with some health issues, but he's doing okay.
He's good to go.
Good to go.
He'll be coaching the next game.
Yeah.
He'll be out there.
So it's very interesting to see how that kind of plays out moving forward. Quentin Newsome, Luke Reimer, day to day. Those are two of your better. I mean, those are two of your better defenders.
Luke Reimer has kind of evolved back into what he was last year.
Yeah.
The tackling machine, just everywhere, all at once. And I don't know when it happened, but I do remember a play in the third quarter where he tackled the running back. His running back was going to the right, changed the direction, came to the left. Luke Reimer caught him after the first down and just like landed on top of him, kind of rolled off and was like holding his ribs. Again, we were not told anything about an injury, about what the injury could be. But if I'm going to guess, which I am, I would say it's that.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. If I had to say who's the best defensive player on the team right now, who do you think it is? Would you go with Reimer?
Has Quentin Newsome given up a touchdown yet?
I'm not sure.
Because I know that was a thing for a while. He hadn't given up a touchdown yet. So I don't know. Like it's hard to decide because like Garrett Nelson had himself a good game. O'Shawn Mathis, even without the sacks, has been doing really well, especially that tip pass at the end. Just fantastic. Dude has ups. He's been getting pressure on the quarterbacks, not getting the sacks. The linebackers, Luke Reimer's been fantastic. Henrich has missed some time with an injury. The corners, I mean, Tommy Hill's now switched over to receiver. Malcolm Hartzog, 2 games in, has done pretty well. Quentin Newsome, again, don't know if he's given up a touchdown yet. If he hasn't, it's probably him. The safeties have been doing pretty well. I don't know, dude. What do you want me to say?
I just wanted you to pick one out.
At least you gave some shout-outs. All of them. They're all doing really well.
They're all the best player.
Starting, if we just start from the Indiana game, they're all the best player.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see because we were looking at it during
who would the text line pick? 402-464-5685. You had to pick a defender. Who is your best defender so far this season?
And I think I'd go with Luke Reimer. I think Garrett Nelson would be right up there. I mean, he's had 3.5 sacks the last 2 games.
I believe so.
Including the very one that probably doesn't get talked about enough. The one before the half, which took Rutgers out of field goal range, which ultimately that field goal would have maybe made the difference. So big sack there before the half. I think he's really coming on, and I don't really care at this point. I think that, you're halfway through the season. I don't need O'Shawn to have 12 sacks anymore. I just need O'Shawn to apply the pressure. Maybe
he's
Nelson,
making a difference. I mean, he's applying pressure. He's getting a lot of tackles, actually.
Yeah.
And he's getting his hands up. I think he has like 2 or 3 tip passes already this season. So he's getting his hands up when he doesn't get to the quarterback. Again, he's applying pressure. He may not be getting the sacks, but he's forcing the quarterback out of the pocket into the waiting arms of somebody else.
And but my point is, though, if Garrett Nelson ends up being the guy that's getting all the sacks, that's fine, right? Altogether, you just want somebody to apply the pressure, and that was kind of the thought with O'Shawn too all along, was if you bring him in, it just makes the group kind of more daunting, and maybe he's the primary focus of that. Maybe Garrett Nelson becomes the primary focus of that. I don't care. I just want some pressure applied, because that's been a big problem for Nebraska's defenses over the years, and I feel like they're kind of they're kind of looking up in that direction.
The defensive line is actually getting more push lately in these last few games. With Ty Robinson and Devin Drew, Stephon Wynn, and Colton Feast, they've actually been getting a decent amount of push against offensive lines. Again, it's 2 games, it's Indiana and Rutgers, but still, you're getting some push against Big Ten offensive linemen, and it's making a difference. I mean, Colton Feast, Ty Robinson both have 1 sack in the last 2 games, 1 sack apiece in the last 2 games, which is more than you can say for the first couple of games. So it's the improvement to the defensive line as a whole has been really evident after Bill Busch took over as defensive coordinator. And again, I don't really know what the difference was, if it really was just getting set, but it seems as if they've gotten stronger and they're actually pushing offensive lines back. I don't know what the difference the coach makes in that, but that's what it seems to me ever since Bill Busch took over.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that it has made a major difference one way or the other. So I'm interested too. We'll see if the black shirts get taken, get put back on
back
them
out
here. I mean, after the Purdue a victory, I would think so. Purdue, by the way, a heavy favorite. Did that surprise you at all when you saw the opening lines?
No, not really. Like this will be, since Mickey took over, not counting Oklahoma, this will be the first good team, good offense, good defense team that you face. Indiana, not great defensively, okay offensively. Rutgers, terrible offensively, really good defensively. This will be the first team that you face that is good on both sides of the ball. All 3, I believe their special teams are pretty solid as well. So this will be the first good team that you face. So them opening up, especially after wins over Minnesota and who did they play last?
Maryland.
Maryland, a really good team, one of the surprises out east. After those 2 victories, I would say that Purdue probably enters as one of the favorites to win the Big Ten West. So being a 2-touchdown favorite over Nebraska, who outside of the last 2 games was struggling mightily, not that surprising, but I believe it'll drop. It'll probably be single digits by the time the game kicks off. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, I don't know, like 8.5 by the time the game kicks off.
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting that, like you just said, they've just coming off their back-to-back wins. They're more impressive than any wins Nebraska has. So they kind of got momentum going there. Also, their losses are somewhat impressive as well. Syracuse and Penn State have not lost themselves yet, and Purdue was in both those games. I mean, they had a chance within the final 2 minutes to win those games. Just ultimately didn't get it done. So Purdue, I think they
have their one weird win against FAU that was really close.
Right.
Probably shouldn't have been that close, but they followed it up with a win against Minnesota. So
yeah, and Aiden O'Connell was out of that FAU
Yes.
game, I believe. So that certainly will put a damper on your team. But I expect a good game. I expect a team. I mean, if it gets out of hand one way, I would expect that to be on Purdue's side. So I can kind of understand the larger spread.
Are we expecting fireworks or another defensive battle?
I think that you're going to have to at least probably be somewhere in between, like a 31-27 type of game. Hopefully I love the progress that this team's made. I think that Purdue is going to give them considerably more of a challenge on the defensive side of the ball. And then Purdue's defense, they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher this season. They're the Big Ten, and we were looking this up during the break. Of the remaining 6 opponents for Nebraska, they're all top 30 in defense.
Yeah, that's not fun.
That's not fun. It's that, and it's going to be difficult. That's the step up that we're talking about. And as it pertains to Mickey Joseph and his opportunity at the job, I I think it is a good opportunity because anymore, I mean, the Rutgers win, the Indiana win, we can kind of just say, well, yeah, it's a great job. We're glad things are back on track, but nobody's really losing their mind and going overboard. Most people still want to see what Mickey Joseph can do against the better opponents. I've said this and I'll keep saying it. I don't think that there's a game left that you're not impressed if Mickey Joseph in Nebraska wins. Typically Illinois might not do that for you. This year, I think they do. Minnesota, they've got to be able to do that for you. Wisconsin and Iowa, if anybody, are falling off what you typically would say is what they usually are. But you've got long streaks of losses to them. So, that's just a huge program thing. I don't care who the next coach is.
Wisconsin,
it'd be great to have a win against one of those programs.
Wisconsin would be the least impressive. This is how weird the Big Ten West is. Wisconsin would be your least impressive win. If you win all the games, Wisconsin would be your least impressive win in terms of how good the team is. So you were just talking about the defense. I just wanted to look at it one more time to make myself sad. So we're talking total defense here. So if you guys want to come for me, whatever. Minnesota number 1, Illinois number 3, Michigan number 5, Iowa number 9, Rutgers moved up to 14, Wisconsin number 26, Purdue number 28. Those are the remaining 6 teams on your schedule are all within the top 30. Purdue is the lowest ranked at 28. The 28th ranked defense in the nation.
That's pretty darn good. How long has it been since Nebraska's been in that category?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was before you fired Mark Banker. It was like
a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Bring in Bob Diaco and have the whole athletic department come and watch how he coaches because he's so good at it.
Just and then let's just for poops and giggles, we'll just say Nebraska wins the Big Ten West. You got to face the number 7th ranked defense in Ohio State more than likely.
Oh, you're just assuming Ohio State gets there.
Yeah, I am. I mean, Michigan has the 5th ranked, so you'll face Michigan again. I don't know.
Where's Penn State at?
Penn State. Let's see. Penn State's defense is not in the top 50.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So
There's
if you face Penn State, there you go. That would be the worst defense that you face.
So that's the route for Nebraska.
There you go. Just beat everybody and then face Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, and then you'll get yourself a nice bad defense.
By the way, we asked you guys who you thought was the most impressive defender. I think this is kind of funny because we've got a few different answers. Dusty says Luke, and I don't think it's close. Talk about Luke Reimer. Jared in Wisconsin says Garrett Nelson. He's been the most consistent all season. Tiny Pig goes, I'd go with Newsome. So, it's the same type of idea. There's no lone standout that's going to be overwhelmingly the choice, but, 3 different checks, 3 different ideas there. And I think that's both. It can be seen as a bad thing and a good thing because you kind of at least at some point you do want to stand out. You want a few guys to kind of play at that all Big Ten level, which is going to be difficult considering all the good defenses in the Big Ten. But at least that's what the improvement's been. It's not been overwhelmingly one guy kind of leading the way and then you hope he doesn't go down or something. It's kind of a group effort to get better.
Also, I lied. Penn State's 38th.
Oh, 30.
I just missed them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that would be out of the remaining 6, that would be the worst defense that you face.
6153 at the text line says, I think Iowa would be the least impressive win. Wisconsin looks like they may be rebounding under Leonard. Iowa still looks pedestrian. So
yeah, probably depending on if Jim Leonard is able to turn it around at Wisconsin, then Iowa would be your least impressive. But I'm just saying currently as it stands, Wisconsin would be your least impressive win.
And Greg and Lincoln points out some of the defensive numbers are because they play some pretty horrific offense in the Big Ten. That also plays into it. Without a
look
doubt.
at total offense. I can look at total offense.
How many top 30 total offenses are there in the Big Ten? Because
that's going to be a scary list.
Well, the bigger thing is how many of the top, I guess the bottom, maybe the bottom 30, bottom 50 offenses are in the Big Ten because there are a few of them that hover around there.
Minnesota's 13th in total offense.
Yeah.
Ohio State's number 2, in case anybody was wondering. Didn't really.
And now the betting favorite to win the championship.
Yep. Maryland 26th, Michigan 29th. So there's 4.
There's some teams.
Penn State 38th.
Again.
There you go. Yeah, they're a solid 38 in everything. But I mean, the offenses aren't the greatest in the Big Ten. Purdue's 57th, Nebraska's 61st.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of weird too? Because you feel like the offense has at least been
Wisconsin's 65th. Okay, this list is wrong.
This is just wrong.
Illinois is 67th. Northwestern 76. Yeah, this list is so wrong. I don't know what this is. This is total offense, but this is not. This is not right.
Is that from this season?
It is. Northwestern should not be up there. Well, if I was not last, I was last. Okay, this list is right.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Well, that could be in the last few
Never mind.
years as well.
I agree. The list is right.
Yeah, I mean, and let's not sugarcoat it either. Rutgers is one of those teams. I mean,
they were down.
They're an awful offense, playing musical chairs at quarterback every week.
But you held them to 13 points. So
yeah, and pretty much on especially on that after that interception was on the short field too. So I still am I feel like it felt like that at the time, and maybe it kind of played out that way that each one of those, when you hold them to a field goal instead of a touchdown, it just felt like, man, if you're more than 2 possessions away, you might be out of the game. And it ended up being true.
When they got to 13, it was, with the way the offense was playing, I was slightly terrified. I was like, you might get shut out. I was like, they might get a touchdown, but I can't see in anything much more than that. And then, the big interception by Miles Farmer, I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. We got this. It's not pretty, but it'll work.
It was not pretty, but the Big Ten's not pretty. You're going to have to win some ugly games. Nebraska getting some reps doing that this past week. Hopefully can get it done against Purdue coming up. A few different things. So we're going to cover Mike Gundy to the NFL at one point in time. We'll talk about that. Also, Blink-182's back, so we'll do that coming up next year on the Ticket Water Cooler on 93.7 The Ticket.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Anderman. Trek CBD done right.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides. Shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate. Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Bagels and Joe is ready for the fall with pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cream cheese, and a pumpkin pie smoothie. Don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches, and grab a business box of bagels for the work crew. Bagels and Joe with 4 Lincoln locations and a new location in Seward opening soon.
At Allo, we think you deserve the fiber things in life, like binging your favorite TV shows and movies buffer-free, next level, lag-free gaming, and video calls without frozen faces. So say goodbye to lag and buffering and hello to super fast fiber internet with dedicated 24/7 support for total peace of mind. Plus, no hidden fees, no expiration dates, and no contracts. ever. From dependable service to exceptional support, experience the fiber things with Allo. Go to allofiber.com/fiberthings and switch today.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
We have to learn from what's happening right now. Frost waded into this with a formula system that didn't work. Now, there were coaches that were telling me that, but how do you know? How do you know? There was one coach in particular that said, Sipple, I don't know if you know this, but they just hired 2 coaches whose systems will not work in the Big Ten. And I said, oh, give me a break. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right so far. Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Warm, windy conditions expected here for our Tuesday. We'll top out at 87. Southwest winds could gust over 25 to 30. Tonight we'll have a chance of thunderstorms rolling through late with a low down to 50. And behind our cold front, northwest winds tomorrow could gust over 35 with a high of 73. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket Water Cooler. Brought to you by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico, what do you think about analytics that tell the Raiders that they should go for 2?
They're stupid.
They're stupid.
I like analytics. I enjoy analytics. I think analytics are good. That was stupid. I don't care what the analytics say. Go kick the field goal.
Well, for what it's worth,
I understand. I understand. Yeah, kick the extra point. I understand that Kansas City had been rolling and moving on you, whatever. But look, take the chance. Put it on the back of your defense. Don't make extra pressure by saying, "Hey, we're down. We need to get the ball back." Kick the extra point, tie it up, and then say, "Look, stop them. Obviously, do your job. Stop them. And if you get it back, we get into field goal range. We get a touchdown. It's not that much pressure. It's still pressure, obviously, but it's not that much pressure." So that was just dumb.
Even if they got the 2, I thought the analytics, might tell you one thing, but I don't want to give Patrick Mahomes a reason to play 4-down football.
Exactly.
I don't want him to have to, to feel like he's got to go for it.
Because if it's tied up, if it's 4th and 3 on their 30, they're gonna punt it. They're not gonna go for it.
Yeah.
But if they're down, it's 4th and 3. They're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And with the way their offense was humming, I mean, I don't really want to do that. Travis Kelce had 7 receptions, 25 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
What a beast in the end zone. Absolutely. Monster game from him. The other thing that kind of came out of that, Devontae Adams pushing somebody who had credentials. It was just somebody working the field.
Pushed a photographer.
The guy walked right in front of him. I might be the only one seeing it that way because I'm the only one that I think has been saying this. But if you have credentials, you got to know when the players are walking by. I don't care what your job is. The player, first and foremost, is kind of who you got to cater to.
You don't have to.
He
shove
walks
him.
right in front of him.
If you bump him, whatever. But he literally shoved him and then didn't see if if you shove him and then you're like, oh snap, like. You okay? Like, I understand you're upset. It's the heat of the moment. You're angry.
He's
you
furious.
just lost.
He just ran into his own receiver.
I get that.
On the last play.
But come on, dude. Really? Have more spatial awareness than that. Don't shove a photographer that you're 3 times bigger than. Like, what are you doing?
The guy had like those old school Chucks on.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing, dude? And then you shove him. At least make sure he's okay, because now he filed a police report.
He did.
He had to go. He went to the hospital. He had some injuries. So look, Devontae, what do you? And then he offered to apologies in the presser afterwards, and he tweeted his apology. No, don't find the dude. Find him. You have resources. You can do that. Find him, apologize, and make things right. Because now you got a police report against you for assault. What are you doing, man? Be smarter than that. And I get it. The photographer shouldn't be running in front of the players, but he's trying to run to the other side to get out of the way, to get pictures, to do his job. Like it's not like he stopped in front of him. He was running in front of him. Devontae was just like, "Rah!"
Oh yeah, but it wasn't like he was just a little bit in front of him. And like he walked right in front of Devontae Adams' path. It was clearly
he was trying to get across to do his job.
Well,
I don't blame a man for doing his job.
I blame him.
I don't blame a man for doing his job.
You gotta have your own spatial awareness when you're walking by.
He's trying to get the shot.
Oklahoma State coach Mike Gundy recently told an interview that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers once interviewed him multiple times about 10 years ago. This might have been the Greg Schiano type of hire back then. You think Mike Gundy, great college coach? I think he'd be up there in a lot more coaching searches if he wasn't at his alma mater, right? I think Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he'd be a hot ticket if he wasn't already at his alma mater. You don't think his shtick works in the NFL?
No, that would not have worked in the NFL. The mullet and all that. I don't know if he would have had the mullet, but that would not have worked.
I'm a man. You're a man. We're all men.
We're all men. But I'm 40. No,
I'm 40.
That would not have worked in the NFL.
It would have been entertaining.
Hard pass on Mike Gundy in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd make that higher, but I would. I mean, he would be on my short list if I thought that Nebraska could get him. I just feel like, he's kind of settling in his place there at Oklahoma State. There's been probably several job openings over the years, maybe a little bit shinier than Nebraska. If he wanted to leave, he probably could have. Sellout streak is prolonged. One person bought $21,000 worth of tickets at $10 each. I was kind of trying to go through the math here earlier. Where did they come up with this number? Because you can't get a ticket from. I mean, if you buy it in bulk, then you can get it in a good deal.
That is probably my most. The thing I'm upset about the most is the fact that this person got them for $10 each. Then why does somebody who's trying to take a family of 4 have to pay like $30 for each ticket?
Yeah.
If somebody could buy 21,000 tickets for $10 each, you should be able to sell those tickets for $10 each. Like, what's going on? Just because he bought them in bulk? Just because this person's, preserving the sellout streak? Come on, really?
Shouldn't we allow people to preserve the sellout streak?
You know why this person had to do that? Because your tickets are too expensive and families can't afford the tickets. So that's why your sellout streak's always in jeopardy each week, is because you decide that you want to be greedy and sell the tickets for a lot more than you really should. Like, figure it out. Don't be greedy and money hungry. You get enough money as it is from somebody that's buying $21,000 tickets. Like, come on, university. You want families. You want this to be a family event, which is why people keep saying, no, don't sell alcohol in the stadium. It's a family event. Families can't even afford the tickets. Like, figure it out.
Also, thanks to the man or woman who stepped up and
bought
$21,000 worth of tickets to preserve the ever important sellout streak
whatever.
at the University of Nebraska.
Good for you, person. Congratulations spending your money. I hope all of these tickets go to the red carpet event.
I hope so too,
and that kids who have not experienced or have only experienced, a spring game or one game can experience another Husker football event. So
yeah, absolutely.
Give these to the kids or give these to families that have never been to football games. And help them out, because like I said, you're charging $30 a ticket and a family has to, they're making a whole weekend out of it sometimes, where they're staying in a hotel and they're enjoying the city of Lincoln. Paying $30, $35, $40, $50 for a ticket is too much. Figure it out, university. Be better. be better. You want your sellouts to streak to live? Sell your tickets for cheaper.
There you go. And they did. Also, one last thing. Blink-182 is getting back together for their first tour in 10 years. Now, they won't be coming into Pinnacle Bank Arena. They're going to go to like Denver and Chicago and all over the world, but I think those are the closest areas that you can make it out there. Any interest in a long ride out to go see Blink-182? They're all a little bit older now.
No. If they were in Omaha or Lincoln or something, like if they were within an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not driving to Denver or Chicago for Blink-182.
I always like those, there's like the punk rock band, Anti-Establishment.
Now,
all
if
that
that was Blink 364, then maybe.
The new updated version?
Yeah.
Good math. But yeah, I mean, I always think it's funny. The crowd that will be there is just going to be a lot of like people that used to be anti-establishment now just have 9-to-5 jobs.
They're wearing ties.
Yeah. Don't keep the concert out too late. We got to go to work in the morning.
I got work.
Yeah. So that will be fun, but at least they're back together. All right, that'll wrap it up for the Ticket Water Cooler. We have a happy hour coming up next with Nick Sandert and Rico will stay in here. Of course, the Ticket Water Cooler will be back tomorrow live from Wingstop. Thanks again to Wingstop for sponsoring us every day. That'll do it for the Ticket Water Cooler. Stick around for the happy hour.